everybody's life has been hard. My life has been hard too, actually. And I know people think, well, you had a rich and famous grandpa. That's true. Can I tell you that doesn't make your life easier? My parents are both amazing parents. My step-parents are great step-parents. But there's something that happens to a kid with divorce and moving a lot. When I was young, I was very tender-hearted. I was bullied a lot. And when I started playing sports and I got a little bigger and a little stronger, I became the tough guy. And when I was a kid, I felt deeply for people. I really loved people, and I would cry when I saw somebody hurting, and I would love to hug people and loved to tell just about everybody, I love you. And that was my true self. But through the woundedness and hardship of my life, I learned that it's much safer to be the warrior, to be strong, and to put on armor, and to not let anybody in. And something happened to my soul that I became calloused and hardened, even into my faith with God, to the point where it was hard to feel emotionally. I remember when someone very dear to me, this is the first time I noticed my numbness. Someone very close to me was on the brink of death, someone I loved dearly. And in my head, I was like, this is one of the people I'm closest to, but I don't feel anything in here. And I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know anything about it. 10 years ago, I met with Bill Gaultier, who was a coworker at the Crystal Cathedral, and happened to also be a licensed therapist and a pastor to pastors. And I only recognize now he was totally planning on doing this. But we just started hanging out and getting coffee and praying together and being pastors together. What I didn't realize for years and years is I was actually getting therapy. He tricked me into therapy. And all he was doing was teaching me to talk about the challenges of life, my stressful day, my wounds, what it felt like to have somebody insult me or disrespect me or to get my heart broken. And I remember I started talking to him intentionally about this because I've always been a little bit of an obsessive guy. When I get something I'm into, I get really into it. And at the time, there was this totally innocent hobby, and it had just completely consumed my life. And I was talking to him about this. I said, all I can think about is this thing. And I feel like it's hurting my friendships and my marriage and my church. And that was sort of the beginning. So this went on of me learning to be open and honest with Bill. And he started teaching me how to do that with Hannah and with my friends. And it took years, but then it was like my emotional life, that kid that had become calloused and tough started to come back to life. It was like, have you ever fallen asleep on your arm? And you wake up and it's just, you could like cut your arm off and it wouldn't even hurt, But you start to rub it and it actually is painful at first. It tingles and then it really hurts. That's what coming to life emotionally was like for me. And it happened because I started being vulnerable, honest, and receiving empathy from people who love me. It's time that we get more vulnerable.